at like 8,000 RPMs.
You just oh my god. There was I watched this thing a long time ago about, it was like it was like people's like weirdest fetishes or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was some pretty weird stuff on there. But the weirdest one, it was like a top 10 list.
Yeah.
And the weirdest one, number one was cock and ball torture. And like, it was like, I know we're starting this episode off strong, but yeah, it was like they had this guy, and like they were doing like an interview with him, and he was like, yeah, he's like, every weekend I go over to the brothel. He like lived in, I don't know, something like Detroit or something like that. No. And he would go to some brothel and have these two girls. He would pay these two girls to like kick him in the balls and like stomp on his cock.
Ugh.
And he was like, I just like it. And I was like, dude, whatever happened to just normal sex?
Find a new hobby. Like,
build trains or something, man.
Why don't you try fly fishing?
Oh man, there was another one. Sounding was on the list, which is of course that's when you just stick metal rods in your pee hole
up your wiener. Why?
Just like I'm basically dead down there. Yeah. Just smack me around. Just shove things into it. I've ruined it.
You would think that like that's the only one you got.
Yeah.
You think that people would be more careful with it.
Yeah. Treat it delicately.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it can take some abuse, but I mean, at a certain point, okay, maybe the penis more than the testicles, right?
Yeah, right.
Because like you can bust a testicle, which
that sounds awful.
That makes my skin crawl. Imagining that.
I got a busted testicle.
Oh God. Or testicular torsion.
Yeah.
Which is where when your nuts gets twisted around.
like a torque wrench.
Well,
that's like whee. That's like 15 foot-pounds of torque.
Somebody just hits it with an impact.
Give him a couple of chugga-chuggas.
Ugga-dugga.
Yeah, some ugga-duggas.
Because like your nuts hang down, and they're like on little tubes, right?
Yeah.
They hang down, and I guess like they can get like twisted around each other.
Yeah.
You know, like if you take like it's like imagine like a grocery bag full of cans and you spin it.
Just knocking around.
I don't know what they do. I would imagine they just grab your nuts and twist them back the other way?
I guess.
I've heard that it's like one of the most painful things.
I would imagine so.
Is testicular torsion.
Yeah, I don't think that I want to partake in any of that. That sounds awful.
Imagine if like they got somehow like tied in a knot.
Imagine like you being this fucking deviant. Like, you like meet some nice gal.
Yeah.
There's like, and then you like bring
She's
her home.
from Iowa.
Yeah. You like bring her home, and you're like, all right, listen.
Yeah. We're not gonna have sex.
Yeah.
But you're gonna beat me up.
Yeah. I want you to take this Milwaukee.
She'd be like, "Oh, he has money." Oh man. Take this Sawzall and just get him out of here. Yeah. Just let's go ahead and be done with it. We're doing the big one. So on a different topic, we had to take Lex to the vet earlier this week. It was like Monday or something, because we were noticing like little brown stains about this size.
Yeah.
Just like on the pillowcases. Just about.
Yeah.
They're on the sheets in the bed. We're like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, we couldn't tell if it was blood, if someone was bleeding, or what. So we were like, every time one would pop up, we would scrub it with hydrogen peroxide and get it out. We're like, I don't know where the hell that's coming from. Well, then we narrowed it down to it was Lex. His anal glands were leaking. Which, I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
Dogs have anal glands that they express when they poop.
Yeah.
From what I understand, the whole point of an anal gland is so your dog can be like to let other dogs know that was my poop.
Yeah.
It's like their signature. That's all it is. Well,
they're John Poopcock.
That was the stupidest thing. That really got me. It reminds me of that Family Guy bit where he's like, they were doing the roll call at the signing of the Declaration. And he was like, John Foot Penis? He was like, it's Hancock now. He's like, why? He's like, mind your business, that's why. So we were like, yeah, we need to take Lex to the vet and have them express it. Because they can get impacted, right?
Yeah.
Because if your dog's, I guess, not pooping hard enough when they poop, they don't express them all the way. So the vet has to, like, stick a finger up his butthole and, like, pinch it and squeeze it out. So instead of us doing that, we have the vet do it. It's $20 and it's totally worth it.
Yep.
So he got a little better for a while. Granted, this was Monday, this past Monday. And then, like, I noticed another spot. Like, we keep sheets on the couch because the couch is white and we have dogs. And so I noticed a spot on the sheets and I was like, fucking Lex is still leaking.
Yeah.
So we're like wiping his ass with like baby wipes and everything. Just doing everything we can. Well, not this morning, but yesterday morning, I woke up and I took the dogs out and I've fed them breakfast and everything. And I was looking at the dogs. As well as Lola's coming into the kitchen to eat her food, I looked at her, and on her back, Lola's a white dog now. Yeah. She's got fucking shit stains on her back. It looked like somebody took a shit and like rubbed their asshole on her back. So she had this big brown skid mark on her back.
You're like, God damn it.
Oh my God. I was like, the legs is just leaking brown sauce everywhere he goes. So I'm having to like scrub Lola down with hydrogen peroxide. And that's the story. Lex is leaking. There's no end. It hasn't ended yet. It's still a story, a developing story.
Yeah. Have you looked online? It's like see if other people have experienced this.
Yeah, well, I found one like Reddit post where a guy was like, "My dog's anal glands are leaking, and the vet won't help." I was like, that doesn't bode well for me. He said that the vet was just like, "Yep, he just leaks." And the guy in the thread was like, "That can't be it." He's like, "That can't be the end of it." He's like, "There has to be an answer somewhere." He was like talking about how he tried like different diets and giving him fiber, and he's down to like wearing doggy diapers and stuff like that. 'Cause he's like, the dog, he can't help it. It just it happens while he's asleep or while he's resting. It was like, but it stinks. And you're like, well, what the fuck is that? We'll wake you up. It stinks so bad. I don't know if anybody's ever been around a dog that expressed an anal gland, like when they got excited or something scared them. It can happen when that happens. Or if they, when they go yeah, like that, they tense up. It smells like rotten fish.
Ugh.
It's one of the worst smells in the whole world.
Yeah.
And
there's got to be like an impact.
Lex is just leaving trails. His John Poopcock all over the place.
John Poopcock.
So yeah, that's been the new fun thing we've been dealing with.
There's got to be like something you can maybe put to like a drill or something. You can like
like a scrub brush, like
a scrub daddy.
Just like oh. I don't know. There's got to be an answer somewhere. I was wondering like, can they remove anal glands from a dog? As far as I know, the only purpose it serves is like I said, to sign off on their handiwork.
Yeah.
And I know that they do that to skunks. They'll
Yeah.
remove their stink glands, but that might be a whole different thing altogether. That's an entirely different biology from a dog.
I know they used to use like beaver anal glands to make like raspberry flavoring.
I think they still do that.
Do they?
I think that's still a practice.
I know that they used to do it with like vanilla ice cream.
They used beaver butt for vanilla ice cream? Really? I didn't know that.
I don't think they do that anymore, but I do know that they use it for that and like raspberry flavoring.
Who figured that out? Who? Somebody out there
Some
like
fucking weirdo.
Somebody out there eating beaver ass. It was like, this tastes like raspberry. And the other guy was like, I'm getting vanilla out of this. This is like,
Probably some fucking mountain man in Idaho.
yeah.
Like came over on the Oregon Trail. Like, we gotta leave this guy behind.
Yeah. He keeps eating the ass out of all the woodland creatures. He's like, one of them's got to taste good. He's like, there's asses everywhere out here. One of them's got to be tasty. He's like, for Christ's sakes, they eat pine nuts all day long.
He's like, he can make like a nice pesto out of this.
Gross. A nice glaze. That's
Some
nasty.
cream fraiche.
Creme fraiche. Well, I mean, like, I think it's in Colorado where they have the testicle festival, where they all eat bull balls prepared different
Oh,
ways.
probably. Yeah, what's it they call those?
Rocky Mountain oysters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Testy Festy.
Is it bull or is it goat?
It's bull, I'm pretty sure.
I know they do it with bull. I think they do it with goats too.
I think there are a few animals who get their testicles eaten, which is kind of crazy because it's like you only get 2 per animal, you know? And it's like, I guess you could kind of say the same thing about a chicken, right? Like you only get 2 thighs and 2 breasts from a chicken. But it was like, there's a lot of people eating testicles and you've only got 2.
Yeah.
So I imagine there's a lot of bulls that have been gelded.
Yeah, was it? I think once they removed the testicles, those are steers, right?
Is that what that means?
I think so.
So it's a bull before it's
I think it's a bull post
snipped.
Post becoming a eunuch.
I didn't know that. I
Is
always
a eunuch where they remove the wiener and the balls, or
See,
just
I'm
the
not
balls?
sure about that because I think that it's just your balls have been removed.
Yeah.
Because how can you can't take the whole cock away, right?
I mean, you could.
I mean, you could, but like, how do you still have to pee?
I guess just shoot straight out.
Does it just dribble out like a water feature?
It's like a fuel injector. You just
It's all sputtery. It's awful. How far back do you go? All the way to the base?
I guess so. I mean, it would make sense because eunuchs, like back in the day, like they would serve like the queen and the princess.
That was like a slave thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you wouldn't. I would imagine you could still like perform with just
Half a dick.
a wiener. So if you take the balls away, you still got a wiener there.
Yeah, it
It's
can
like,
still
and you don't
function.
want some slave
Yeah.
with no balls
Banging the queen.
banging the queen.
She's like,
can't-
we can never be caught. You can't get me pregnant.
Right.
Yeah.
So it would serve to think that they'd just be like, God, just lop the cock off too.
Yeah.
Like,
We'll just go ahead and get rid of all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just cut you off. We'll cut you in half from at the waist.
you flay it open like a microwave hot
I
dog.
was about to say a microwave hot dog. It's all split down the sides. Gross.
Like the Predator.
Predator. Yeah, like the whole jaw opens up. And they take the head of it and slice it this way and that way.
Yeah.
God. That's such a... Ugh.
Yeah.
It gives me the shivers
I
thinking
mean,
about it.
I think a eunuch is like you don't have anything down there. It's just nothing.
Let's consult the World Wide Web because I am curious. Because I remember, like in Game of Thrones,
Yeah, the bald-headed guy,
The
right? He was a
bald-headed
eunuch.
guy, they kept calling him a eunuch, but they never really...
Explained.
He never really straight up said whether or not it was his balls or his cock.
Wasn't it what was the other ones? The Unsullied?
The Unsullied, yeah. I think...
They didn't have a wiener, though, right? They took their
no, because
wieners
there was
away.
a sex scene between Grey Worm and what's-her-face.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he was like, well, I don't have a wiener. And she was like, well, that doesn't matter.
She's like, you still eat this pussy.
Yeah.
He's like, yay. Great.
You haven't bathed in a month.
Oh, it's all pasty down here. Okay, so eunuch, even the dictionary definition doesn't give a really good. It doesn't say. It says a man who has been castrated, especially in the past, one employed to guard the women's living areas in an Asian court. And then there's another one that says a castrated adult male will lose muscle but gain fat. He can expect hot flushes like those a woman have at menopause. He will lose body hair and his penis will shrink. Okay. He still has his penis.
Okay.
Maybe it's just the balls are taken away.
I guess you could say, like, do eunuchs have wieners?
Let's just do it. Do eunuchs have wieners? I'm going to phrase it a little bit differently so that Google doesn't think I'm an 11-year-old. Do eunuchs have penises?
Oh, scientific.
It says it is important to note that most eunuchs are castrated simply by removing their testicles, not the entirety of their penis.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
In some situations, eunuchs would have the penis removed as well. The removal of both exterior sexual organs was known as emasculation.
Wasn't it, like, not too long ago that they would, like, chemically castrate, like, gay guys?
Did they?
I think so. Well, I know that...
Who's they?
I know that they chemically castrated Alan Turing.
The same guy that, like, Turing test Alan Turing?
Yeah.
Really?
He built the first computer.
Why did they chemically castrate him?
Because he's gay.
Well, okay, it's like, okay.
The English.
Okay. At what point in his life did that happen?
Like, after they won the war.
So he was like, hey, I built the first computer. And they were like, get fucked, gay boy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, everybody else is just a bunch of jocks.
Yeah. fucking nerd alert.
Gayfer.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think, I know that they covered it in the movie, The Imitation Game, which is like the story of his life.
Yeah.
Like with him, like breaking Enigma with the Germans and everything.
That was a German code, right?
Yeah.
I think there's some country, maybe it might be Singapore, that chemically castrates rapists.
Well, I can't say that I disagree with that.
Yeah. I get it.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, isn't like there's still like some Middle Eastern countries they'll lop your fucking hand off if they catch you stealing.
Yeah.
It's gonna make it twice as hard.
Yeah.
To steal next time.
And then I think they just go ahead and take the other one. They're like, well, now you just got
Didn't
nubs.
learn the first time, did you?
Now you're just a nubby man. So what if you manage to nub something away? Well, what do they do then?
Chop your cock off.
Chop your cock off. You're like, I didn't even use that to steal. I mean, what were you doing? You were nubbing it around down there?
Just out in the street.
It's like somebody's knees are touching it. I was like, I wonder if I would just imagine they're like, okay, we're just gonna keep going up the arm
Yeah.
until you're nothing but
no
shoulders. I don't know. People can, there's people that are like, they're like born without arms or the function of their arms or whatever, and like they use their like fucking feet to like brush their teeth and drive their cars. And,
oh yeah, I remember like when we were kids, they had a thing about this lady that like would feed her kids and like drive like to work.
Yeah,
and she'd like used her feet.
With her feet. Yeah, we saw a guy. We actually in the real world
Oh,
saw
yeah.
a man at Waffle House eating pancakes with his feet.
Yep.
like with utensils.
Yeah.
Like he was holding a fork and a knife.
His toes are running him through his beard.
Running him through his beard.
He's like, what smells like feet in here?
It did slow him down a damn bit.
That is one place I would not want to be barefoot.
Fucking Waffle House.
This Waffle House.
Yeah. There's no telling what's on those floors.
Imagine. It's just
It's
like,
bad enough sitting at them sticky fucking tables.
imagine going into the bathroom.
I wouldn't. You couldn't pay me.
I just shit in my pants.
I'll just sit right here at the table. It's not the worst thing that's ever happened here.
Look at this guy that got no arms into poopy pants.
That begs the question: like, does he wipe his own butt with his feet? I don't think you can. I don't think you can physically. It doesn't bend that way.
Yeah, I would imagine that there's either a lot of showers going on.
Yeah.
Or
he's got like a cat
he'd have
scratch
to have,
pad
like,
type situation. Like a little
He's
a little post.
He's just like a dog where they like take their ass and run it over the carpet. I would imagine he's probably got a bidet.
Yeah.
That'd be like the best way to probably go about it.
Or just shit butt.
Yeah, just poop butt all the time. It'd have to be a bidet. I mean, that's really like a pedal or something where you like press on the pedal.
You know what I did like? So when we went to Italy, our hotel room, the bathroom had a bidet. But like, I don't know if maybe I was using it wrong because of course I tried to use it. I was like, "What's the deal?
This water tastes awful."
I was like, "What's all the hubbub about a bidet?" And like, the water just kind of came out like it just like somebody turned a faucet on. It didn't have like any real pressure behind it. I was like, well, now I got a wet poopy butt. And I was like, so now now I'm just wiping a wet poopy butt rather than a regular poopy butt. And I was like, this was horrible. This made the experience 10 times worse. And it didn't have like a lid. It was like a bowl with no seat.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to like
hover.
Yeah, you got to like hang brain over this thing and like just kind of. I don't know. I have to have just used it wrong. I don't know.
I remember when I was in the Middle East during deployment in the military, there was a mall. I think it might have been in Bahrain. And they had like regular stalls and everything. And like you go in and like to use the restroom. And they had toilet paper there. But then they also just had like a fucking hose.
A hose?
With like coming off the toilet,
like an HDX garden hose.
It's like like the old school, just like hoses for the sink. You like spray a dish off.
Yeah,
it's like one of those.
Really?
It's like I'm not fucking grabbing that.
No. Oh no. Did you know somebody held it and pointed it straight up, so then it came straight back down. Right. So, and they like just flicked their hand. You know. That's so gross. I know there's a lot of countries.
I'll be using the toilet paper. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of countries where you wipe your ass with the toilet paper and then you throw it in the garbage can.
That's gross.
Like you don't flush it down the toilet. No. It's got something to do with either like their plumbing system can't handle it or whatever. But then that's why sometimes in like international airports you'll see signs in the bathroom that says you here in this country you can flush your toilet paper. But some people will still just like there's no trash can in here. What do I do with this? And just throw it to the floor.
Ugh. Disgusting. I mean, I don't know. People in America are fucking gross, too. We went to IHOP the other day, and fuck you guys. Y'all are such... If you go to a fucking public restroom in a bathroom and just spray fucking diarrhea on the toilet, and then you fucking leave it there and you don't flush, you are the lowest fucking scum.
Why not at least flush?
The lowest fucking scum.
I know exactly what you're talking about because in my previous job, I went into a lot of gas stations to take horrible shits. And there was always some unlucky soul that got there before me.
Right.
And they would have this like crime scene in the stall and they wouldn't flush. It was like, there's still a lot of it got in the bowl.
Right.
You could flush that.
Right.
Like, and honestly, you should stay behind and clean up your mess.
Right.
I just couldn't imagine walking in, having this ass explosion all over the toilet
Well, just-
and then just leaving.
It just makes you wonder. It's like if you do that out in public, it's like where like there are like social cues that you should
Yeah.
like
You're held to a higher
recognize,
social standard.
right?
Yeah.
Rather than just like being this fucking slob in your own house.
This animal.
Yeah, I just imagine these people are just like, oh, time to shit, and they just take their pants off and just hold their fucking legs up into the air and just shit out into the wide open.
It's just like the bathroom is just a room that you blow your shit into.
It's just like, who are these people?
Yeah, they're walking among us.
Maybe that should be like our first real interview. Is
Yeah.
like this person is a serial shitter.
We need somebody to own up to it.
Yeah.
And let us interview you.
Yeah.
We need to know what's going on
Right.
behind those eyes.
The hard hitting questions, all right?
You know, when we I don't remember exactly where we were flying in from, but we had landed in the Atlanta airport. We were coming home from somewhere, and I had to pee really bad. And I walked into the bathroom, and there was like a billion people in there, and all the urinals were taken, and all the stalls were taken. But one of the stalls had its door wide open, and no one was going to it.
Yeah.
And I went to take a step to go to it, and one guy went ahead of me.
Yeah.
And I watched him, and he walked down there, and he turned the corner, and he just like, I saw him like take a second to just like, I saw him weighing the options.
Yeah.
He was like, I really gotta go.
Yeah. But I don't have to go
do
that
I have
bad.
to go that
Yeah.
bad? And he didn't. He walked away from it. And I was like, oh, it must be bad. And then I saw another guy do the same thing. But then the janitor had come in. And I watched him go down to that stall.
Like, God damn it.
And I saw him look into the stall, and I saw it on his face like, I might quit today. So, like, I never went and saw what was going in there. So it was some unknowable, like, eldritch horror. I didn't get to witness it.
Some like Lovecraft.
It's like, who came in here and did that? Who is capable of such horror?
I don't think I've ever had to go to the bathroom bad enough where I've just been like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like I will I'll shit in my pants.
Yeah.
Before I deal with any of that. It's just not gonna happen. It will not happen.
I mean, I've had upset stomachs for stuff before. I've had some bad shits, but I have never had a shit that wasn't contained in the toilet. Like, I've never had one that, like, blew out the sides.
Right.
Or, like, up a fucking wall.
Yeah.
Like some of these monsters.
And it's not like my diet is great, all right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like Louis C.K. said, I'm just shitting and eating.
Yes.
It's just a cycle.
Like, I just don't understand. And, like I've had, like, upset stomach before.
Yeah.
But, you know, especially, like, if you're, like, out in public. Like, if you have to go that bad, and, like, as soon as, like, you start taking your pants down, like, you're starting to go.
So the one when, like, your butt cheeks are quivering?
Yeah.
Because you've been holding it so hard?
It's like, at that point, it's like, it's always nice to give a courtesy flush.
Yeah.
To, like, get that first wave,
Yeah.
like, away.
Get it away. Yeah. I'm not going to let it sit there and marinate.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit there with it just in the bowl.
Yeah.
Like,
3 inches from the tip of my dick. just the river Styx in this toilet bowl.
oh, God.
There's some countries, I want to say maybe Korea is one of them, where, like, their toilet is like a trench in the floor.
No.
You know what I'm talking about? You've probably seen it before.
I think in Japan
Like
it's just like a hole in the ground.
Like, I think, well, it's like it's like that, but it's
Yeah.
like a, imagine you took a urinal and you just, like, took it off the wall and then laid it down on its back.
Yeah.
It's kind of that looking kind of the thing.
Yeah.
But it was like you pee into that thing, but also like you poop into that thing.
Yeah.
And it was like you had to, like, squat down
Yeah.
and just poop. And it was,
They say
and
that's actually better for you.
that's how you're supposed to poop. You're not supposed to shit like you're sitting in an office chair.
Yeah, like this with my phone looking at memes.
Yeah, where your legs fall down
Yeah.
to sleep. Or all that what is it, cortisol just coagulating in your arteries.
Yeah.
You're supposed to squat. That's what you're supposed to do, and it's I think in a lot of Asian countries that's how their toilets are set up. You squat.
Yeah.
And a lot of times too, like you've probably seen. You see it a lot of, in like in like Russia and like a lot of those like Eastern European countries and Asian countries. People will squat to rest.
Yeah, the Slav squat.
Yeah, they'll like squat down like with their ass like below their knees.
Yeah,
and their knees are kind of up, and they're like that's just a comfortable position for them to sit in. If I tried that. Like my whatever this muscle is on the top of my legs would like split in twain. I can't do that. I just sit in a chair.
Like I would just imagine like in like Ukraine right now during the war, there's just like everybody squatting.
Yeah. Trench warfare.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Of course, everybody has like the tracksuit on and
the Adidas tracksuits. Yeah. Smoking a cigarette. Have you seen the footage where the Ukrainians, I think it's the Ukrainians, maybe the Russians are doing the same thing, but they'll take these like little mini drones and like pack them with C4, and it's got like basically a cattle prod on the end of it, and they'll just fly it away and find a guy and just bump it into him and explode him.
Guy.
Yeah,
just some guy that went to go get fucking tomatoes from the store.
Yeah, it's chasing him through the store. There's all these other people. Everybody's like, "Get away from me!"
I did see it was maybe last week on Reddit. Where that's a fucking cesspool. But they, I think it was some footage from a drone, I'm assuming like that, where they used it to blow up a fucking Russian warship.
Yeah.
And of course everybody was like, I hope there was a lot of people on there.
Yeah. It's a good thing you brought up Reddit because I wanted to talk about that a little bit. And mostly in regards to the border crisis that's going on. So there's a lot to say about this, but one of the things I wanted to talk about in regards to that was, so Texas has basically told Biden to suck shit and fuck off. Governor Abbott was like, we are going to protect the border since you have decided not to. As a matter of fact, you have deliberately undercut our efforts to protect the border. So the Texas National Guard seized control of, I think it was Eagle Pass, Texas, and wouldn't let Border Patrol, which is a federal agency, wouldn't let Border Patrol get anywhere near it. And they were using like riot shields, and there was a lot of concern that a skirmish might break out.
Right.
Well, it put Biden in kind of a precarious position, right? So Biden ran on this platform of being extremely, 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 extremely lax on immigration and just crossing the border illegally. Anyway, he intended for this to be the way that it is. Well, now that it's really gotten out of hand, he's doing a lot of backtracking.
Right.
President Biden is. So he released this statement a while back.
The one where he blamed Congress?
Yes. He blamed Congress, and he in so many words he said, I'm going to basically hold this country hostage until Congress gives me more power. That was the gist of it.
No.
He was basically saying the border crisis won't get any better until the Congress gives him the power to do what he wants to do with the border, which he was already doing anyway.
Right.
Anyway, point is, a lot of Texans and a lot of other states, I think it ended up being like 26 states total, voiced their support of Governor Abbott. So it was a split, almost right down the middle of the country of people saying, of states and governors basically standing against the president. That has not happened in quite some time. Well, all the wonderful denizens of Reddit and Twitter.
Well, their infinite knowledge.
Yeah. They all started grandstanding and talking about how, the traitorous South never went away, and all those people aren't real Americans. We should kill them. We should kill them. Yeah. It's like this bloodlust came only from that side.
Right.
Only from that side.
As is tradition.
And I saw this one Reddit post that really just blew me away, where this guy was like, he said, I hope that, let's see if I can remember what he said. He said, I hope Joe Biden comes out and does like the up to the podium, and he flips an hourglass upside down and says, the drone strikes will begin in 30 minutes. And then he walks away. And I was like, you know what? Don't ever pretend that you have the moral high ground or that you are coming from a place of moral superiority when you are the one who is fantasizing about the federal government blowing up its own citizens.
Right.
For doing what? For protecting themselves.
Right.
You are the bad guy.
Right. Well, I mean, people will tell you who they are.
Yes, they will. They will not lie to you.
You know.
They will tell you straight up exactly who they are and how they believe and what they think of you.
Right.
It really does seem that, wanting to preserve your own life and livelihood is a bad thing.
Well, there was a guy that down near the border, I think he was like a rancher, that was shooting at the cartel.
Oh yeah, that guy in Arizona. Yeah, he had like a full blown firefight with the fucking cartel.
And then the police came and arrested him.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What the fuck kind of clown world shit is this?
What the fuck is going on right now?
Right.
It was actually the feds that came and arrested him. It was ATF. There was that guy, Daniel Penny in New York City.
Oh yeah.
On the subway.
Mm-hmm.
He that guy. There was that homeless black guy that was like threatening to kill everybody on the
the Michael Jackson impersonator.
Yeah, there's one video of him doing that,
right.
of him doing that, and 30,000 videos of him like pushing people onto the tracks.
Was he's like slapping people,
like, stabbing people. Yeah.
He like goes up on his toes. And...
He's like moonwalking and shoots the guy. Everybody's like, "Oh, he's just misunderstood." Oh, fuck that guy. No, he was a problem. He was a menace. Everyone knew he was a problem. They just let him keep being a problem. And then one day, somebody said, "I'm not going to let this guy be a problem anymore."
Right.
Daniel Penny, not alone, mind you, subdued this guy. He had him in a chokehold. And in the video, there's like 2 or 3 other people helping hold down what's I'm calling Menace. I don't remember his name. Dennis the Menace.
Menace.
Well, Dennis the Menace was of such weak constitution that he passed away in that chokehold. And the New York police arrested Daniel Penny and charged him with murder. And recently, he tried to have his what do you call it? He tried to have the murder charge thrown out or something. I can't remember exactly what happened. Basically, he was trying to say, "Hey, I didn't murder that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I stopped him from murdering other people. Yeah. He just happened to die in the process." Yeah. But they, of course, it's New York.
Doing the job that you were supposed
to do. So of course it's New York, and they just whatever. They didn't give a shit. Well, it's interesting that happened. Like 3 days ago, 2 police officers were beat up by a gang of migrants who were then released from jail with no bail and were walking out of the courthouse, flipping off the cameras, throwing up cartel gang signs and saying, "We're headed to California, California way." So we're arresting these people that are trying to protect people, and we're letting free these people who are I'm just gonna say evil.
Well, I just don't. There's there's no logic to explain the reasoning behind any of this.
The only thing, it's not that they think what they're doing. It cannot be that they think that what they're doing is the right thing to do. It can't be that. The only thing that it can be is that they know it's the fucked up wrong thing to do, but there's some kind of fucking gain they're getting from it, which is why they're doing it. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
It's like I said, like there's just no logic behind some of this shit. It's like, why would you, like, I understand, like, you hate the police and you hate them so much that you're willing to let Jose come in and beat the shit out of a couple cops.
And sell fentanyl.
Yeah,
and rape children and chop people's heads off.
Yeah, and then you let them go. It's
and you say that was the right thing to do.
Right. It's like, you think, oh, he got it out of his system.
Yeah.
He's not going to do that anymore. And then he goes out and he shivs somebody in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And then they leak blood everywhere, and then he goes on about his business.
And does it again. But at least he didn't get arrested.
Right. I don't get it. It's beyond any logical explanation as to what the fuck is going on.
I don't know. Is it a self-loathing thing?
It'd have to be.
I mean, because, like, you see this this way of thinking is what I forget the word that I want to use for it, but this way of thinking, you see it most often from liberal white people, the majority liberal white women. This kind of idea that the greatest humanitarian crisis on earth is being arrested by the police for committing a crime. Not stabbing someone, not raping someone, not trafficking children, not selling drugs. All of that stuff, that's basically, you might as well be saving a cat out of a tree. But a cop arresting a guy? That's like the Holocaust all over again. I don't fucking get it.
I think what it's just empathy that has run rampant, and it's not in check. So it's just looking at it, what it seems to me is that it's just people that are overly empathetic that want to explain away whatever these people are doing and give some reasoning as to why there was some type of traumatic experience in this person's life that led them to do this thing, and we should all be more considerate when we're talking about these people and all of this stuff.
You might hurt the criminal's feelings.
Right. It's like, but at some point, you have to stop being empathetic.
Yeah.
And you have to start implementing the rule of law.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to be a civilized society at some point.
Yeah, because if you don't, you're going to end up getting a lot of innocent people hurt and killed.
Yeah, exactly. As a direct result of your policies.
Right. And you're going to be... It's going to be your fault.
Yeah.
You might as well have been the person that killed him.
Yeah, might as well. There was a guy in Philadelphia not too long ago, a couple months back. He... the story initially broke that a black teen broke into his home and shot and killed him. So, of course, Twitter took it and ran with it because that guy that was shot had spent many a waking hour on Twitter claiming how it was racist to say that the black crime in Philadelphia was a problem, and how all these liberal ideologies were the way to go, and how all these like social constructs were yada yada blah blah blah. It's like, it's not their fault that they're committing crimes, that kind of thing.
No.
Well, of course, everybody thought it was sweet irony that he died as a result of being lied on that stuff. Well, then it turned out that the kid that shot that guy was being blackmailed by that guy.
Oh, nice.
Because that guy sexually abused this kid.
Nice.
So that guy, who was moral grandstanding for everybody talking about how great he was and how great his liberal blah 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 was, he raped this kid and filmed it and got him hooked on fucking crack or whatever it was and blackmailed him with that information. And then that kid killed him. And it was like, well, you know what? Now, now it's just
life's funny like that sometimes.
Yeah, it's like you. It's insane to know all this retrospectively. That all that was going on, and meanwhile, you were on Twitter talking about how wonderful the city was, and how actually throwing criminals behind bars was wrong, and we need to be more understanding of people who have pedophilic tendencies. And just no.
It's like I said. It's one of the major things. Is like, and yet you can swing way too far to the right.
Oh yeah.
You can definitely do that. It's like, but you can swing way too far to the left too, and be way too empathetic. And there are people in the world that are horrific fucking people that are looking for super empathetic people to let them into their cause. That way they can do all of their disgusting shit.
That's going to make it easy for them to do what they want to do
under the guise of your banner.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's sort of like all the guys that you saw walking around with like the future is feminine T-shirts, like all the male feminists, all the ones that are like rail thin.
Yeah, this is what a male feminist looks like.
And then all these stories would come out about how they're just like the fucking worst.
Yeah.
Where it'd be like
they're so misogynistic and like
where they'd be like girl power, and then they'd like behind the scenes they'd be like now you had better fuck me.
Yeah. I stood up for you. You better suck my cock.
Yeah.
I stood up to that big scary white man.
But it's but that happened like more times than you can probably fucking count. Like, there's a certain type of like Weasley.
There's a phenotype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they call it the sneaky fucker.
Yeah. Yeah. You know exactly who we're talking about.
Yeah.
There's another. I'll move on from this, but there's another instance of that same kind of thing happened in New York, if you can imagine that, where a liberal journalist, I think he was a journalist, he wrote a bunch of articles, so he called himself a journalist, whatever. He was walking home with his date, where he was set upon by an urban youth.
Set upon.
There's like CCTV footage of the kid, or the guy that we'll call him murderer for expediency's sake. The murderer is walking down the sidewalk, and the journalist and his date are walking behind. So there's about 50 feet between them. But then the murderer starts like spurging out and like starts attacking a trash can. And instead of doing the sensible thing and going across the street to the other sidewalk, they were so concerned about appearing racist that they continued walking towards this guy who was like stabbing a trash can.
Oh.
Well, wouldn't you know it, the murderer turned his ire towards the warm body behind him and stabbed that guy in the heart, whereupon he bled to death on the sidewalk. And the murderer ran away, and the date that he was with, you can hear on the footage go, "Dude, are you all right?" He's
like,
gagging on his own blood.
She's like, worst date ever.
She's like, ew, this is giving me the ick. I was on a date with this guy, and he got stabbed in the heart. It was a total turnoff. So the guy ends up dying, of course. And then it comes out later that he was a journalist and he wrote all these articles about how we should be soft on crime and how, every knife-wielding maniac's got some kind of fucking sob story that we all have to fucking care about.
Yeah.
Well, then a little bit later, it comes out that his friends started a GoFundMe. Let me ask you, they started a GoFundMe, Wesley. His friends did.
Yeah.
What do you think they were gathering money for?
Under the guise of funeral expenses?
Not even under the guise. It was so that they could grieve properly.
Yeah.
Basically, they wanted a vacation.
Yeah, communists do that.
So all his friends who used his death to get like it was like $60,000
It's
they
just
got.
fucking narcissism is all it is.
And then, a few weeks later, the girl he was with posted this selfie with like her fucking tits hanging out, and she was like, I didn't know you could look this hot while grieving.
Oh, nice. Jesus fucking Christ. We
Everyone
are so
involved,
doomed as a species.
It's like, you know what? And looking at this situation as a whole, you all were fucking rotten people.
Yes.
And this guy that stabbed
to the fucking core.
the stabber, the hash-slinging stabber, he is the least rotten person out of this whole situation.
Old Butcher Pete over here.
Yeah, Butcher Pete, he stabbed this guy in the heart, and then like all of your rottenness just came to light. I don't feel bad for a fucking one of you. It's one of the most insane to watch it play out in real time was insane. Because so many people, it was so funny because it was so vindicating for people on the right, because people on the right were making these outlandish claims like, oh, I bet she's like a BLM sympathizer, and wouldn't you know it? And then like people were like, oh, I bet he probably thought that you need to be light on crime, and wouldn't you fucking know it?
Yeah.
It just kept happening.
I just fucking... The longer I'm alive, the more I can't fucking stand white people.
Well, you know...
What the fuck's wrong with y'all?
I don't... It's the whole fucking thing is topsy-turvy. Like, the whole thing got flipped upside down on its head where, like, people are like, deifying degeneracy. And they are worshiping criminals. And, you know... A hero is a bad thing.
No.
Like, what happened? What happened? It seems like the kind of thing that would be a slow burn. It seems like, but in reality,
it was just a flip of a switch.
Yeah, I just turned around one day and everyone was insane.
I have no clue. I don't know what the fuck is going on
Imagine
anymore.
that dude got stabbed in the heart and he was like, I'm listening and learning.
Yeah.
He died. I just don't get it. I don't think that people who think that way can be reasoned with.
No.
I think it might be a type of psychosis.
You think so?
To be entirely honest. It's a pandemic. It's the unseen pandemic.
Yeah.
The unspoken pandemic, whatever it is.
I don't know what the fuck people are doing anymore.
I think that people. I think in 2020.
I think the pandemic broke a lot of people.
I think the pandemic broke a lot of people, and I think that George Floyd's death in the middle of all of that also contributed, because so many people overcorrected.
Yeah.
On so many sides. People were just overcorrecting in all different ways.
Yeah.
And nowadays it seems that people are so scared of being of being scrutinized in the public eye that they would rather die. They would rather die than have the populace think that they were a racist.
No.
Like, I would rather walk up to this maniac who's stabbing a trash can than appear racist in front of this girl that I'm with.
Yeah, he's hacking and whacking and stabbing.
Yeah. By crossing the street and going up the other sidewalk. You know, I like to think that in an alternate universe, he did cross the street, and the girl that he was with was like, wow, you're going to cross the street just because there's the crazy ass, the black man 50 feet away stabbing a trash can? And he said, yes, I am.
Yes. And then she got
stabbed. And then he was like, holy shit. And he ran.
Yeah. He's like, I bet you wish you were over here with me.
Stupid bitch.
I don't get it. My self-preservation is too strong.
I mean, it's almost like they're unobservant or something. I'm an unobservant person. Like, I don't notice, like, what kind of... like, me, we'll go to a party or something, and Mary will be like, did you see the shoes that so-and-so was wearing? And I was like, no, I didn't pay attention to that.
She's like, no, did I put on shoes?
Yeah. But, like, if I'm out in public, I'm like, as a man, probably every man listening to this can relate. You're threat assessing while you're outside.
Right.
Everywhere you go, especially if you're with your family or with your wife, you're looking at exits. You're looking at other people who are coming in and out of the space that you're in. You just naturally...
Who looks like they might be a fucking weirdo.
Yeah,
like,
you're just naturally taking note of those things.
Right.
You just have this innate, or at least you should, this innate need to, maybe not necessarily protect, but just to be ready if something happened.
Right.
And I feel like a man going insane and stabbing a trash can is about as big of a sign as you would ever get.
Right. Well, I don't know.
I think he's just standing there watching him go insane, like,
yeah, seems safe.
I'm sure it's fine. Oh no, I was wrong.
Heavens!
Heavens! I've been stabbed.
I think a lot of it starts like with. I think a lot of it starts in the schools, cause like the teachers can't fucking discipline these fucking kids.
They're not allowed to. You are not. They are not allowed to discipline the kids.
It's like at my daughter's school, they're like, we have a 10-step policy before we call our parents.
That's 9 too many steps.
Yeah, and I was like, 10 steps. I was like, 10 steps.
Yeah.
You've told them 9 times already to knock that shit off, and they haven't?
Yeah. What do you think? If you told them 9 times, what is 10 times going to do?
Right, like on the 10th time, the kids go like, oh, fuck.
Oh,
yeah,
you're right.
You're right.
I shouldn't bite other kids on the face.
Yeah.
Sorry you had to tell me 10 times.
Right.
It just finally clicked. There's no telling. The schools are definitely a big part of it, and kids. We have Wesley and I both have family that are in education and academia and stuff like that. So we kind of have a little bit of insight as to what's going on in like high schools and things like that. And this is not good. It's getting worse. Faculty are not allowed to. They're not allowed to discipline kids. So kids aren't getting the education they're supposed to. The kids that are at school and who are trying to learn can't because there's 40 or 50 kids packed into a class and 30 or 40 of them.
Nonsense going on.
Yeah, 30 and 40 of them are just engaged in monkey business all day long.
It's like that. And then, when they bring the parents up there to be like, hey, your kid's being a fucking asshole. And then the parents get all fucking upset about it.
Yeah. No, my kid's precious and perfect.
Yeah, like, no, your kid's a fucking asshole.
Yeah. Your kid's a psychopath.
Yeah.
And he's on 12 different medications. And he's 11. What are we doing here?
What, just because you don't feel like fucking dealing with him, so you're going to put him on a whole bunch of fucking medication?
Because he was raised by an iPad.
Right.
He doesn't know how to be bored for an hour.
Well, I mean, there's so many instances where it's just like parents that don't give a fuck. It's like, and they pop these fucking kids out, and they're like, I don't really feel like dealing with that.
Society will take care of it. The state will take care of that.
Right.
Yeah.
As a parent, your job is to direct your child and try to teach them right from wrong. And if you don't do it, then somebody else will fucking do it.
Yeah.
And chances are, if they get far enough along where nobody's fucking done it, they're just going to throw them in fucking prison.
Yeah, or they're going to get killed.
Yeah, or they're going to
kill someone.
It's like if you don't punish your children for when they do stuff that they shouldn't fucking do, there's a pretty good chance that at some point they're going to end up on a fucking table in front of a bunch of fucking people, and they're going to inject them with fucking with go to sleep juice. All right. They're going to take the long nap because you wouldn't tell your kids not to fucking do something.
Because you couldn't stop scrolling Facebook for an
Right.
hour to teach your kid that chewing the cat's ass was a bad thing to do. Speaking of executions, did you see or did you hear about the guy over in Alabama that they recently executed? They did it with nitrogen gas.
Really?
Which I think I heard, it might not be correct, but I think I heard that he requested that.
No.
I guess you can request how you go. From what I understand, it didn't go well. Like, the guy, was obviously, kicking and struggling and stuff when he was supposed to just peacefully fall asleep. And I mean, it wasn't like law-abiding citizen where that guy got injected with, hydrochloric acid.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, it wasn't as clean as it was supposed to be. Anyway, so people on Twitter, of course, were bitching about, all these fucking Republicans, all these fucking right-wing extremists, they just murdered a man in prison instead of getting him the help he needed. Okay, the guy who got executed, he beat and stabbed an innocent woman to death. Well, okay.
Yeah.
He didn't suffer enough, if you ask me.
All right.
He should have been beaten and stabbed to death. The husband of the woman who was murdered, he paid these two guys like $1,100 each to go buy a gun and kill his wife.
No.
Well, instead of doing that, they took that money, bought a bunch of drugs. And they were like, oh, we don't have any money to buy the gun with.
Nice.
Let's just go beat and stab her to death. We'll do it the old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way.
Yeah. So as a result of his actions, he is now dead.
We'll do it the old way.
Yeah. So it was just amazing to see all these articles coming out. They're trying to drum up sympathy for this fucking murderer. I'm sorry. I don't care.
Sorry, no.
You will find no empathy here. Sorry. If it would have been something like, oh, they did it to him, the state of Alabama executed this guy who was thrown in prison for marijuana possession. Then I would have a big problem with that.
Yeah, then me and you are gonna have big problems.
I'm gonna have an issue with that.
Yeah.
But not if you beat and stabbed an innocent woman to death.
No.
They should have lit him on fire.
Yeah.
They should have gave him the Clinton special.
You ever seen the Sicario?
Yes, Sicario, yeah.
Remember they whipped that guy?
Yeah.
He's got a fucking eyeball hanging out. And
Yeah.
they put a tire on him and light him on fire and they're poking him.
I mean, I don't understand. People's compassions are crisscrossed and they're going the wrong way.
Well, the thing that kind of kills me is how, they're like, oh, defund the police because the police are corrupt and all this stuff. It's but if you do that, then you have to let people arm themselves so they can defend themselves.
Yeah. You can't defund the police and disarm the civilians.
And disarm the civilians. You cannot do that.
It can't be both.
It's honestly, I would be more okay for them being like, okay, no more cops. Everybody gets 10 free guns.
Yeah, just let it be a battle royale for 10 months.
PUBG.
Yeah, it would just be PUBG for a little while, and then it will sort itself out after a while.
Well, I mean, I'm under the impression that you are less likely to try to inflict harm on someone that can actively protect themselves.
Yeah, if someone can inflict harm back on you. Yeah.
Because most people that are criminals like that are fucking cowards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's all kinds of videos about, or there's people who kind of have this idea that, if a guy comes into your store with a gun, just give him everything in the cash register. That's all he wants. He's not going to hurt you. Well, in the majority of those cases, those people who come in there with a gun to rob, they end up shooting and killing the person anyway.
Right. So that didn't do anything.
So it didn't do anything. There's a ton of videos of that happening, of that exact scenario not happening that you talked about, where you give him all the money and a blowjob and he leaves you alone. No, they will come in, with the gun. I'm going in here with this gun to take money and hurt people. I've got the money. One thing left to do.
Time to hurt somebody.
To hurt somebody. So,
Well,
no, like...
And there's a lot of videos, too, where the owner of the establishment pulls out a fucking gun and shoots them.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you shouldn't have been fucking around.
My favorite one... Okay, there's a lot of favorites. It's a toss-up between three. The one where the two Thicc Indian guys beat that guy's ass with those sticks. They beat the dog piss out of that guy.
I've seen that one.
He catches one blow to the shin that I know he still feels to this day. The other one is the guy that hops the counter in the vape store and he gets stabbed by that fucking buck knife. You know which one I'm talking about? The guy, he's just stabbing him. And the other one is these kids go to knock over some like convenience store. And two of them like got out of the car. They got their shiesties on or whatever, and they got their guns. And they run in the front door, and the dude behind the counter was already ready for him. He has fucking 12 gauge, and he blasts the first guy. And the first guy into the store makes it in about 1 foot.
Yeah.
1 foot into the store, he gets blasted with birdshot, and then he runs away screaming, going, "Oh, he blew my arm off! He blew my arm off!" He didn't. You're just a pussy. Yeah, but I love it. I love seeing people defend themselves. I love seeing robbers. There's a Twitter page that I follow called Robbers Getting Fucked. And it's just shit like that happening all the time. And I fucking love it. It's nice to see the bad guys lose.
Right.
I grew up on cartoons where the bad guy lost.
Yeah.
That's what I watched growing up. I didn't grow up watching the good guy died, and now we got to figure out we got to have this like fucking 10-minute long powwow and understand why the bad guy killed him.
It's also kind of amazing to me that the same people that push for like more gun regulations and disarming the populace and also letting out bad guys and also telling you why you shouldn't try to hurt the bad guy
and also defund the police
are also the same people that get super upset and talk about victim blaming.
Yeah. It's like, what in God's name do you actually want?
I don't think they really believe anything. I think it's just being contrarian at this point. That's the only like reasonable explanation I can come up with.
It's just a whirlwind of bad ideologies. Just things crash into one another, and like, oh, we should get rid of the police. No more police, but you can't protect yourself, and also don't stop the criminals, and that's the correct thing to do.
Yeah.
Or you're a bigot.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's a question. What happens when someone's a racist? Uh-oh. What happens? That's just a racist person. They're probably racist because either they don't have a lot of world experience or they have a lot of bad experiences. There's a reason for somebody being the way that they are. There's a reason for anybody being the way they are in regards to anything. But you keep throwing around this accusation. When you call everyone a racist,
it's just a blanket term.
It loses its meaning.
Right.
So
then it makes it hard to pick out the people that actually are racist.
Yes. It's the same thing with the word Nazi. If you call everybody a Nazi, then nobody's a Nazi.
Right.
And then now we can't tell who the fucking Nazis are.
Right.
I don't want to not know who the Nazis are.
Yeah. I would like to see them coming.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You don't want those hiding around.
Yeah. You just like people like just like out and about.
Yeah.
And just like normal people.
Any one of them.
Yeah, everybody's like, look at that Nazi. And then like behind there's people like goose stepping.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like an actual Nazi. Yeah. And then everybody's like, no, that's a Fed.
Yeah. There's like 2,000 of them going down the street.
And then you have conservatives and people on the right calling everybody a pedophile and everybody a groomer. Well, now we can't tell.
Yeah, great. Now I can't tell who.
I don't know who's a groomer and who's
right.
not. Yeah. I don't. Number one, I don't have an answer. All I can do is bitch about it.
It's just fucking clown world.
It's just clown world. And two, I don't see it getting any better. At least not anytime soon. I know that I'm excited for that Civil War movie.
Oh yeah.
that's coming out about the new about the second American Civil War.
Yeah, I saw the map for that. I don't really understand the map that much.
It was Texas
like
was
the
its own
Second
thing.
Republic of Texas.
California was its own
yeah.
thing. And then you had the Union, and then you had like the southern states were like its own thing. So it was four different,
like four factions.
Four factions, yeah. But it was made by A24, which I love anything they do.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people think that A24 is like a Zionist propaganda, you know, lizard people and everything like that. Like, if that's the case, then they're making some good stuff.
Yeah.
Whenever I see something made by A24, I usually end up really enjoying it. They made that Netflix show Beef. Did you watch that? Mm-hmm. That was really, really good.
That was good.
That was really, really good. One of the most vulgar sex scenes I think I've ever seen in a show.
Yeah.
I was watching it with Mary, and I was like, it made me uncomfortable.
Like,
I was like, I feel like I'm watching porn with my wife. Yeah, but that show was really, really, really good. They also made that movie that came out recently, that End of the World movie. The one that everybody was talking, the Obamas made this movie. They're trying to tell us that the world's going to end.
Oh.
It had Julia Roberts and Gary Oldman. I can't remember what the name of it was.
Don't Look Up.
No. It's right on the tip of my tongue. You ever know, like you can feel it slipping away.
Yeah.
Like the more you try to think what it is, you can feel it getting further away.
It might come back.
It just came out. I can't remember what it was.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it was on Netflix. Leave the World Behind. That's what it's called.
I think I heard of that one.
Yeah, so it just recently came out. It was made by A24, and the Obamas had some hand in either producing it or writing it or whatever. I don't remember exactly what the thing was, but it was like an end of the world type of movie. It's like a suspense thriller kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the world's elite dropping a hint that it's all going to come crashing down, because I don't think they would do that.
Yeah. They wouldn't want you to know.
Yeah. However, all of the world's billionaires have all at once started building underground bunkers.
Yeah, I saw that.
That is a real thing.
And Costco started selling food supplies.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's that.
So maybe there are some signs. Yeah. I don't think one movie is going to be it, though.
Yeah. I don't know, because it seems like I don't really want to say like our side. I don't really have a side, because nobody's on my side.
I'm watching out for me.
That's
me and my
that's a Lord of the Rings reference, if you call it that.
Who said that?
The tree Ents. The second movie.
Is that from the books? I don't remember.
No, it's in the movie too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they're like, "Whose side are you on?" He's like, "I'm on no one's side, because no one's on my side."
Oh, Treebeard.
Yeah, Treebeard. But I mean, it's like you got some fucking wacky people on the right.
They're whack. There's wackos all over.
You talking about some fucking weirdos?
There's wackos all over, man.
The people that hate the police and want you to get raped and stabbed, they're pretty bad people.
Yeah.
But on the right, it's like
the people who think we should be hanging black folks just for being black.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
I don't think we should hang people for the color of their skin. I feel like we.
I thought we kind of got back. I thought we were past that. Yeah. It's like, and the people are like, "Wow, that's racist. Did you know the world is flat?"
It's just coming at you from every direction.
Fucking hollow earth.
Yeah. King Kong is down there. He's living under the earth.
You're just like, God damn it.
Everyone leave me the fuck alone. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to get stabbed. I don't want to hang black people. And I don't think the earth is flat. All of you go away.
I was like, when the fuck did all this happen? When did all this happen?
Man, I don't know. The flat earth thing.
That's fucking wild to me.
I think that maybe that was the genesis of everything going wrong, was people turning around and saying, wait a second, maybe the Earth is flat. I think that what that is it's a bunch of fucking stupid people who never belonged to anything.
Right.
Because they were too stupid to belong to anything. They figured out that they could all be fucking stupid together and just belong to this big, stupid souffle that they made.
The funniest part about that is the guy that was the flat earther that built the rocket.
Yeah.
And he launched himself into orbit. And
Like
he came
Wile E.
back.
Coyote.
Then he came back down. He's like, it's totally not flat. He's like, it's round.
Like, it's straight up is not flat. I saw. And then
He's like looking like, have you ever like been in a plane?
Yeah.
Like,
you don't have to go that high up to see the curvature of the Earth. Matter of fact, if you go to a beach, you
Yeah.
can see the curvature of the
you
Earth.
just look.
There it is.
Yeah. It's like I can't go to the beach and be like, oh, I see London from here.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you ever see that documentary? I can't tell you what it was called, but there was a documentary about the flat Earth people. It came out a couple years ago. I was watching it, and the theme of the documentary was definitely leaning towards look how stupid these people are,
Yeah.
without so much
No.
saying that outright. They were kind of letting these people
Like, hey, man,
exhibit just how
talk.
Yeah, go ahead. It ends up culminating in these two flat Earth guys conducting an experiment to prove once and for all
yeah.
whether or not the Earth was flat. So what they had was you had a guy way down here on this end with a flashlight, a tall cardboard like poster type thing with a hole cut in it,
Nice.
and then like 200, 300 feet away, another poster board with a hole cut in it, and then a guy on the other side of that with like a camera.
No.
And it's like the idea is, if he holds that flashlight through the hole on his end, I should be able to see it on my end because the Earth is flat straight across. It's like, if not, and I tell him to hold it up higher, then I'll be able to see it because the Earth is curved. So the documentary crew is filming this guy do the experiment. He's on the walkie-talkie. He's like, are you holding the flashlight up? Or are you holding the flashlight
No.
down? And he's like, yeah, I'm holding it down. He's like, oh, that's interesting. I can't see it. He's like, do me a favor and hold it up above your head. And then he sees it.
No.
And he goes, oh, that's interesting. And then it cuts to credits.
Yeah.
It was just like, the documentary was definitely like, look how fucking stupid these people are. Yeah. My favorite part of that documentary is they do a hard cut to this guy who's bouncing a ping pong ball on a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And he goes, did you know they made up dinosaurs? And I was like, I'm hooked. You got me. I'm hooked.
Man, the dinosaur denial thing to me is fucking wild.
Yeah.
That's a fucking wild one.
Yeah. There's so many. I like to hear all the different explanations about why fossils exist.
No.
My favorite one is Satan put them there. Oh, God.
Oh, God. It's just, damn it, y'all make it so hard. Y'all fucking make it so hard. Why do you have to make it so difficult?
And you know what doesn't help? Trying to revitalize the 90s boy band era
No.
in the year 2011. And that is our segue into the Super Cringe Thursday post for this week. We've only got a couple minutes left in the episode here, so let's go ahead and talk about that. Did you watch? How much of that did you watch? I know you couldn't have
I watched the whole thing.
You watched the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing.
That's impressive. I didn't think you would.
I thought at some point, like,
you would know.
this is a shit.
Okay,
Like, this is shit post. This is a shit post.
Yeah, so I sent that to Wesley. For anybody who didn't see it, it was a music video by a band called Heart to Heart. The song is called Facebook Official, and it is like a 90s NSYNC style boy band type song,
with guys that can't sing.
The guys that are like crazy auto-tuned.
No.
And wearing a ton of makeup. Those high-definition cameras did not do them any favors.
No.
And it came out in 2011. To put that in perspective, that's the same year Skyrim came out. So much further along than boy bands were. So I sent the link to Wesley, and he said, "Is this a shit post?" And I said, "What you just watched was a full-blown, genuine attempt to revive the 90s boy band scene in 2011. And he said, "Well, it wasn't a very good one." But when I first started watching it, I thought it was a shit post.
I swore it was a shit post. I was like, "There's no way this is not a shit post."
As I was watching it, I was like, they had Lance Bass from NSYNC.
I thought that's who that was.
Do a cameo at the beginning, and I was like, that doesn't seem like the kind of thing that he wouldn't do that for a shit post, unless he wasn't in on it. And then I watched it all the way through, and I was like, oh my God, that was in earnest. That was for real.
I swear to God, even going back and looking at it later, I was like, there's no way that this is not a shit post. Yeah. This has got to be a shit post.
Do you know what is the final nail in the coffin on whether or not it's a shit post? The comments are off.
That is true.
Which means it was not received the way they expected it to be.
I always get so disappointed when the comments are off.
I want to see the discourse.
I get so disappointed when the comments are off.
Let me see the meanness.
Because, even there's parts in that video where there's, like, the little Indian-looking kid. He's, like, a darker complexion.
Yeah.
Like, even he's, like, looking at the camera like, this is a shit post.
Maybe some of them still thought it was. Like, they just kind of thought everyone was in on it. Like, we're all in an unspoken agreement that this is a shit post.
Yeah.
But then, like, the other three dudes were like, we're all in unspoken agreement that this is, we actually,
yeah,
I mean this.
This is for real.
I mean it. So, unsurprisingly, it didn't take off.
I can't imagine why. It was bad. It was really bad.
It was bad. Yeah.
Like, the production quality was really high, but the performance was really bad.
That's usually
which made it worse.
Yeah, if you have a really high production quality, all that really does is it stands to just kind of amplify the quality of the actual product itself. Right. So if it's really shitty, your high production quality is going to make it crystal clear shitty.
It just looked like six guys they just kind of grabbed.
Yeah. Did you notice that, like, their synchronized dancing wasn't all that synchronous?
No, it was not.
It was a little sloppy. After I sent you that video, I went back and watched an NSYNC music video.
Mm-hmm.
What is the name of that song? Their big one. No, I'm sorry, not NSYNC. Backstreet Boys. I Want It That Way.
Backstreet's Back.
I Want It That Way.
Oh,
isn't that Backstreet Boys?
It all runs together for me.
Yeah, it all runs together. Whoever did I Want It That Way. That was the one that I watched.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder, like, retrospectively, is this as bad as what I just watched? And it isn't. It's not good, per se. No. Like, it's not my cup of tea.
It's definitely, like, of the era.
But it's better than whatever the fuck this was.
Obviously, they had spent some time going over the choreography.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. I was looking at the choreography, and I was like, these dudes are locked in. I was like, they are one for one doing exactly the same thing.
Right.
I was like, I kind of have a little bit of appreciation for like that must have been really.
Now, you really obviously at least put some time forward to try to at least get the steps right.
Yeah. But then I was also like, this. I thought it was stupid then. I still think it's stupid now.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to believe that there were people who were actually invested in that shit. That slop.
But as opposed to this heart-to-heart deal, the timing was off.
The cadence is really bad.
Yeah.
Of the lyrics themselves. There are several, like, bars in that
They
song.
just kind of mush.
Yeah.
Just
Like-
trying to mush a bunch of shit.
They got too many syllables.
Right.
In this one bar, like there's one line, the line where they say "Let's make it Facebook official" is so clumsy,
No.
and I'm like, this is hard. This is hard to listen to. Like it's physically exhausting to listen to this.
Right.
Yeah, I'm tired from listening to your song.
Yeah, it has to be a shit post.
Speaking as someone who has released a shitty album, I feel that I have some some credit here to kind of pick this shit apart, because like I've never made like a 90s boy band type song. I've never written out choreography for like a dance routine or
Right.
anything like that. So that's an interesting thing that I always hear people say, like, oh, well, if you've never made a movie, then how can you pick one apart? It's like, well, the thing I always say is, I've never flown a helicopter, but if somebody crashes one into my house, I'll know that they did it wrong. So no, I've never made a 90s boy band song, but I can tell that this one is bad.
I would just, because the thing with like 90s boy bands is like they weren't just like friends that got together and started a boy band.
And they got found by some
this
company.
was put together by a bunch of Jews.
The fact that you're not wrong is what's so funny. I wasn't expecting you to be so forward.
Well, I mean, it's
true.
They talk about it.
It's
There's a
true,
bunch
though.
of Jews in the music industry.
Yeah.
But I mean, so there's like a lot of executive decisions that go forward into choosing like who's in this boy band.
There were a bunch of executive Jews that put this thing together.
Well, I mean, they own a lot of fucking business.
It was NSYNC and Backstreet Boys all the same. They
handpicked them.
They were like created
Right.
in a lab, basically. It wasn't this organic thing that happened. They were like playing small venues, and then a talent agency was scouting them. They were put together and made. They were like an industry plant, is what they were. Yeah.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why people like pop music just kind of appeals to the masses. Mm. But
it's very safe.
Yeah, it's safe. Yeah. It's like, but it like there's just not. There's no legitimacy to it. Yeah. Like, it's just like heroin for the ears. Mm-hmm. Like, it no just substance. There's no substance to it, right? Whereas, like, you have, like, people that come up that do, like, small venues. Like, you have, like, bands that'll do it. You have, like, kids that get into, like, rap and stuff, and they'll do a small venue, and they'll do all these shitty fucking venues. Yeah. And then...
Well, a lot of kids that are doing rap these days get started on SoundCloud. They get found on SoundCloud, and then all of a sudden they're a big name. It happens fast for them. Who's Lil Yachty was the one. He was kind of like the original SoundCloud guy.
Oh, okay.
He went from, like, being a nobody to making millions of dollars, like, within a year.
But... Like, it used to not be that way, though. No. It used to, it's for, like, rappers and, like, rock artists, it used to be like, hey, you're going to be down here for a long fucking time.
A long time.
Until another band that's, like, a middling band says, okay, you can come on the road with us and be our opening act. Right. And then you might have, like, somebody might poke their head in and go, like, oh, those guys aren't that bad. Yeah. And then, you know, you'll cut your teeth and make a name for yourself.
They'll want you to record an album or something.
And they might want you to record an album. And then you'll get passed along to a larger band.
Yeah. And there's so many points along that road where you could fall off. Right. I mean, there's how many, just because you recorded an album doesn't mean a damn thing. There's so many bands that recorded so many great albums, and then nothing ever came of it. Right. I mean, you know, one band that I always point to is Silverchair. Mm-hmm. What an incredible band that is. And people only know them for Frog Stomp. That's the only song that anybody knows by them. I think what happened with them is they kind of had this post grunge sound that just they came too late in the game.
Right.
There's a lot of bands that kind of missed the genre, like just missed it. I think that's what happened to them. But there's like I said, you go to any record store, you could go in there and look at, I don't know, you probably know 5 of the bands out of the 500 records that are in that store. If a record store is even a thing anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it used to be like you'd go into like, I remember you could go into like Kmart or Walmart or just any of like the large box stores, or back when they had Circuit City.
Yeah.
And they had like the whole CD section. I remember you'd like take the CD and you'd scan the CD on the thing, and then you'd put the headphones on.
The communal headphones.
Yeah. And then you'd listen. They'd be like, here's the single from this album.
Yeah. And you decided whether or not you liked it.
And then you'd make the decision on that album based on that one song that you heard.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that used to be how you found the music you liked. You had to go to the store where they had the music.
Right.
And listen to it there and be like, I found this band. I like their sound. Now it's just everybody's on YouTube, and it's just...
Yeah. I mean, and it has its...
It's not a pilgrimage anymore.
It has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have never found fucking 12-Foot Ninja like just in a fucking record store.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They're fucking wild. They got their own fucking thing going on. But like, so I mean, like there's pros and cons or whatever. But I do feel like you get better bands like the old way of like cutting your teeth and like being on the road,
putting in the legwork.
Yeah. Whereas like then you have people like fucking who's a big artist now?
Drake.
Yeah, Drake, or just any of these other fucking pop artists or whatever.
What was I about to say? There hasn't been like, at least not in the rock scene, I don't think. Rock's dead. It's been dead. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, that horse has been dead for a while.
But there hasn't been like a Led Zeppelin.
No.
A new Led Zeppelin. There hasn't been like a new Def Leppard or Judas Priest or Motley Crue, for God's sakes. There just hasn't been anything like that since that era. And
that's because you've got all like the metalheads that are like arguing over like what's
metal or not.
Yeah, what's metal or not.
Yeah. Somebody thinks Kickstart My Heart is metal, but like Alex Terrible is not metal.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're both wrong and you're both right.
Yeah.
That's why we can't get anywhere as a genre.
I swear, the metalheads are just like libertarians.
Yes,
like,
yes.
They will fucking argue over what is like actual.
None of them can tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we all know what it's not.
Yeah, those damn metalheads, they ruined metal.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even like some like the old, like, and it might just be like a nostalgia thing or whatever, but there's like old pop songs from like the 80s that are not that bad. They're pretty good.
They're good, yeah.
It's like you have like, I would, like Simon and Garfunkel, like they're pop artists.
Yeah.
They performed popular music. Like that was the genre that they played. Mm-hmm. And they have a ton of hits and a lot of really good songs.
Yeah.
It's like, and then you had stuff like Cyndi Lauper, and she had a bunch of really good songs.
Cyndi Lauper did Girls Just Want to Have Fun, right?
Yeah.
I think it was... so Cyndi Lauper... I think Cyndi Lauper was, at the time, if I remember correctly, I wasn't alive during this, but from what I remember hearing, was Cyndi Lauper and Madonna were kind of like the rivals, you know? Like, and everybody thought that Madonna would be kind of the flash in the pan artist, and Cyndi Lauper was going to be like the long time artist. But it ended up being the opposite. Madonna, to this day, is still performing shows and stuff like that.
Looking fucking crazy.
Whoa. Wow. I didn't know a person could look that way.
She looks fucking wild.
And then Cyndi Lauper, I guess, isn't really doing much. But yeah, it's so bizarre seeing like a 70-year-old woman get a butt lift. It's just because
she's wearing a diaper.
They have that like paper.
She might be wearing a diaper.
Yeah. They have like this papery skin, and then like a Nicki Minaj ass underneath it, and it is a unnatural thing to behold. like Cher.
Yeah.
Do you remember seeing her at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade here recently?
That face is tight.
Yeah. And she was not moving a whole lot. Mm-mm. And she was very auto-tuned. It's like, please just let her go home and lay down. She doesn't need to be standing on the road in 30-degree weather performing.
This old lady needs to go home. Yeah. But, like, you know, I don't know. It might just be nostalgia for, like, 80s style music. Even, like, 70s style music, like disco.
Yeah.
Like... But there's
funk.
like nobody plays funk anymore.
Dude, I would love for funk to come back.
Like the last band that really did anything with funk was Red Hot Chili Peppers. That was it.
Yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers
like
kind of
mainstream.
They crossed the genres a lot.
Right.
But I would say the last band who did anything with funk was probably like Jamiroquai.
Yeah.
Like they were kind of like a funk band, but also kind of like electro funk kind of a thing. I guess technically you could call Daft Punk funk. They did some kind of funk stuff.
Sort
They were
of.
like funk-inspired techno.
Yeah.
It was kind of a weird cross-genre thing.
Yeah.
But like honest-to-God funk music.
That hasn't existed for
It has not existed in a real like Earth, Wind, and Fire.
No.
That hasn't been a thing for a long time.
And there were so many good bands from like that era. So I mean, even disco had a couple of good bands. Like you had like
Electric Light Orchestra.
You had like the B-52s.
Yeah.
You had ABBA.
I love ABBA. Dancing Queen.
Yeah.
Is such a good song.
You had
it's so of that era.
Oh shit. Who were the ones that did the song for Saturday Night Fever? It's like fuck.
That's gonna drive me insane.
Yeah, it was that one was like, you can't tell by the way I walk.
Yeah. Oh man.
Have you ever seen that?
Oh man, that's killing me.
Have you ever seen that music video?
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Those guys are fucking high.
Yes, they are. And they're all wearing denim. Aren't they like all denimed up? Yeah.
It's like is it denim or is it they're wearing like the big like the suits with the platform shoes?
I'm pretty sure Bee Gees, by the way.
Yeah, the Bee Gees.
I'm pretty sure. Hang on, here's the music video. I thought in my mind they were all wearing.
They
denim.
might be wearing denim.
Hang on, I'm fast forwarding. I want to see the guys. Okay, no, so nobody's wearing denim in fact, but like, just like there's one like he's wearing like that like what do you call that?
Like the open shirt. Like,
no, it's like that silvery kind of like pleather material that was real big. Look at this balding dude, like with his like deep V shirt going on and pendant. All three of them wearing a pendant. And how come every 80s music video took place in like fucking Motor City, like in like 2000s Motor City? We're like opening up like in this video. Like, let's open up. The first shot is just a busted out window. Every 80s music video is like that. It takes place in like some fucking like a foundry.
Yeah.
Why? Pick a nice location.
Yeah, it's so funny to me, like looking at all those old music videos and just being like, everybody in that music video is just fucking ripped.
Yeah, zooted.
It's like CCR has a whole song about him talking about take a ride on a magic spoon.
Yeah.
Do do do.
Who is it we were talking about? The guy that did I Feel Good.
Was it Rick James?
Was it Rick James? I think it was Rick James.
Yeah.
Every time that guy was on camera, he was just, he looked like he was like...
It's such a good a puddle.
Like he was melting. He is the sweatiest man that has ever lived.
What's that one, they got the meme of him where it's like he just comes up, he goes...
Yeah, he's just. He looks like he's dying. He's actively dying. Like I don't know how he didn't just wither away into a mummy. I've never seen anybody perspire that much, and it was because he was high on cocaine.
Yeah.
A whole lot of cocaine.
Everybody was high on cocaine back then.
Everybody was so sweaty. And they had that feathered, permed hair.
Ugh.
And it was just like, it would always start out like at the beginning of the show, they look great. And at the end of the show, it's all like stuck to their head. Everybody's sweaty. Bloodshot eyes. Like somebody sprayed down a clown.
Oh, you just don't get that kind of stuff anymore. Everything's just so
everything's
fucking...
just fucking, look how big my ass is.
Yeah.
That's
Everything's
not
just so fucking commercialized.
Yeah.
They just need to bring back, like, that kind of degeneracy.
Yeah. Like cool degeneracy.
Cool degeneracy.
Not like lame degeneracy. Yeah. Like we're all twerking on, like, police cars.
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah, like, I don't want to see fucking CGI'd She-Hulk twerking in a law office.
I don't give a shit about that.
What the fuck is this?
Where's all my balding middle-aged man in a busted-out warehouse high on drugs? That's what I want to see.
I mean, they're still there. They're just not making music.
Yeah. No, they're making...
They're just hanging around.
Just milling about.
Maybe that's what we should do. We should just, like, go to, like, an inner city somewhere and just find, like, a bunch of, like...
Just a building.
Just middle-aged...
A building that's so deteriorated it's just I-beams.
Right.
Yeah.
Just middle-aged homeless men, like, high on fentanyl.
Having one of those stand-up naps.
I'm like, hey, you look like you'd make a great musician.
Yeah. Y'all know anything about funk? No one will tell the difference.
Yeah, he's just like, I took one over there.
Yeah. We'll smear some Vaseline on the camera lens and give it that kind of like refracting light kind of a thing going on.
We could totally bring the genre
Make
back.
it killing, just with homeless drug addicts.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how they did it the first time around. According to that Bee Gees video we just watched.
Oh, last thing before we leave, have you seen that Instagram page, Bums and Drones?
I love Bums and Drones. It is one of my I recently discovered it I came across it on YouTube. All it is this guy who flies his drones up to homeless people and like it's just them like freaking out in a drone like what the fuck, why is this thing following me? And they're like throwing their garbage at it. I saw one where he like dropped off a pack of cigarettes or something to a couple of junkies. They were like sitting back behind.
They're like,
like she's got like 5 teeth. Like 2 are in her nose. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It is very interesting. It's interesting to get that close because I would never personally in my life get that close to that.
Right.
But seeing it through a drone is something different entirely.
Yeah, the first one I ever saw was like this homeless guy, just like he was like draped over like a shopping cart just to sleep, just like standing up like draped over this cart. And I guess, like, the drone gets right up on him, and then he, like, freaks out and falls.
Yeah.
And then shit goes everywhere. And he's wearing, like, flip-flops and jeans.
Yeah.
It looks like it's maybe 30 degrees outside. He takes his flip-flop and just wings it at this fucking drone.
It's just the humanity of it all.
Yeah. It's like, this is wild.
There's one video, one of them I saw where one of the homeless guys took a football and threw it at the drone and managed to hit it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and the drone fell down and he grabbed it. And the video ends with, I guess the guys running the account, they gave him $50.
Yeah.
And so they're all taking a picture together. He's holding the football. Like he goes and tells all his bum friends, like, you ever see a drone?
Yeah, you hit it with this football.
You'll get $50.
Yeah. But not my football.
Yeah, it's mine. It's my lucky football. I also fuck it.
It's like fucking Uncle Rico.
Yeah. I used to be able to throw a football clear over the mountains.
That's what he'd think he's saying, but he just goes, ah.
Yeah, that's Oh, boy. Well, I think that's about all we got time for today, everybody. This was episode 94, I think. Hang on one second. Let me verify. It's definitely not episode 71.
I thought, because I think last episode was 93.
Let's see. I just want to make sure. Go to show. So this is episode 94, which means the next episode we will unveil our plans for, I'm not going to call them plans, our idea for episode 100. I believe we can make that happen. We are excited for it. Still got a little bit of details we need to work out about how to get like all of it working and everything, but it will be fun, I believe. So we're excited about that. Excuse me. If there was anything that we were wrong about today on the podcast, make sure you write in and you let us know. We'll read it out on a segment we have called I'm Sorry. If there's anything you'd like us to talk about, if you need advice on anything, make sure you reach out to us on the Facebook page, or you can email us at thickboypodcast@gmail.com. Do you have anything you'd like to close with, Wesley?
As always, if we are not on your preferred podcast platform, let us know. We'll get there. We're pretty certain that we're pretty much everywhere that you can listen to podcasts right now. Like Gary said, if you want to reach out, you can always reach out to us via the email or through Facebook. If I'm not mistaken, I think the email is in the show notes.
It is.
Yeah. But no, just thank you for the continued support. We appreciate it, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, that's the podcast. Thank you and goodbye.